As we begin the 11 o'clock hour, welcome back. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks. Pat Landrum. We are live at Social Taco. Molly Conrad, high atop Red Mountain in studio. We'll talk to Charlie Potter coming up momentarily from Bama Online as the Alabama Crimson Tide has their final bye week before they take a deep breath and finish up the 2025 campaign.
Yeah, speaking of weeks, the week just ended at the Finnick, but good news, the Finnick back open tomorrow afternoon, evening, all the way through Monday night football. Tomorrow night we got some college football on the tube. You can check out Jack State and Middle Tennessee, or if you want to watch maybe Game 5 of the World Series between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, all the way through the weekend. You want to take in the UAB-UConn game. They're going to have that game on. Also Auburn, Kentucky, the full slate of college football games. The big games, you can watch them there at the Finnick. 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park. Wonderful menu you can check out there as well. Sunday ticket, NFL Red Zone. They've got it all for you. They got fan clubs, whether it's the Jefferson County chapter, University of Alabama Alumni Association watch party, to many others. It's the Finnick. Check them out. 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park.
Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline from Bama Online, Charlie Potter joins us now on the program. Man, Charlie, it has been a wild last 5 games for the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is a much-needed bye week for the team.
It is, yeah, not only just to get healthy, but you're right, it's been a hell of a stretch. I mean, everybody talked about the 4 straight games against ranked opponents, but going on the road to South Carolina after that stretch, that was never going to be easy. I thought South Carolina kind of gave Alabama everything that they could handle, but to get a win on the road kind of bucks the trend of everything that happened last year, and I think Alabama's kind of breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief going into the bye week 7-1.
What was your expectation for Jeremy Bernard heading into the season? We knew he was going to be one of those guys in that wide receiver room, but Charlie, he's blown me away with his play, the consistency, and he seems to have really elevated his game this season.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Jeremy would have a big year. I thought there was potential for Alabama to have a couple 1,000-yard receivers. We'll see if that proves to be the case. But I think what surprised me is just the way they're using him. He's all over the field. I think it says a lot about Jeremy and just the trust that Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, and these coaches have in him, that late in the game, on the road at South Carolina, you have the game tied at 22-22, and they put the ball in his hands behind center to go win it. And so he's a guy that he's a great dude. He's loved in that locker room. But the way he's playing right now, Jeremy's one of the most important players on this team, and he's been a guy that they've leaned on time and time again offensively. He can run the ball out of the backfield. There's been times when he's been the team's leading rusher. He's just that kind of Swiss Army knife for this team, and I think when you've had injuries to Ryan Williams, injuries to other guys in that room, the group as a whole has had some drop issues throughout the season. The one constant and the one kind of steady force has been Jeremy Bernard, and that's a big thing for not only the offense but for Ty Simpson.
Yeah, let's talk about Ty, because I know based on your website and your message boards and based on the conversations that we had right after the Florida State game, there was a lot of hand-wringing. There was a lot of irritated people in regards to what this team is going to look like after Florida State. But Ty Simpson has stepped up, not only for this team, but one of the best, if not the number one quarterback in the Southeastern Conference, and now we're talking about the Heisman Trophy. Just talk about his maturation process and how he has really embraced that role as a leader on this football team.
Yeah, and I think you guys probably agree with me. I don't think the reason that Alabama lost to Florida State was because of Ty Simpson, but
right.
You know how reactions go. I do think that he has been much better at decision-making since week 1. I think that was probably the biggest bugaboo for him in Tallahassee, and it's been much better. He's been efficient, effective. His accuracy has been off the charts. This last game probably wasn't his best in terms of all of those things that I just said, but he made big plays when he needed to, and there were just a couple throws that he missed too. Like the Alabama could have scored a couple more touchdowns on some of those deep balls. I think that's kind of the next step for Ty Simpson, is just the downfield passing attack, because that hasn't really been there for Alabama. They haven't really needed it this season either, just the way that he's been kind of taking what the defense gives him, and that's one of his biggest strengths is that. But I think that's kind of the next step. But, yeah, I mean, to not have really a downfield passing attack and be considered at the top or right there in the mix for the Heisman Trophy. I think says a lot about just the way he's been able to play. And the dude's still dangerous with his legs. He hasn't had to do that as much. So Ty Simpson's had a great year up to this point. I'm really fascinated to see what he does down this final stretch here in November, if he can stay in that race or maybe even pull away.
Charlie, with the opponents that Alabama has left and what those opponents do well, what's the biggest concern offensively going up against an Oklahoma defense, or particularly an Auburn defense that's playing really well at the end of the season? Where does Kalen DeBoer and the offensive side of the ball need to button up some things? You mentioned the deep ball, but maybe some other areas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the deep ball's at the top of the list. I think it starts with the offensive line. I don't think it matters who they play. That needs to be cleaned up. They gave up some pressure. Ty Simpson was faced with a lot of that. And granted, look, South Carolina had some dudes up front, especially off the edge. But, a couple of sacks. I think they had 6 tackles for loss. So those negative plays you want to try to eliminate. And they got to get the running game going. That just hasn't really been there. And, look, the passing attack's been effective. It's been really dangerous. It's benefited this offense. But you want to be balanced. You want to be able to run the ball when you can. And they have at times. It's just been too inconsistent. And I think this bye week's big for the offensive line and those backs. You get Jay Miller another week to kind of get his legs back under him. He's a guy that I think can be really, really big and important for this team down the stretch. We've seen kind of the emergence of Daniel Hill, too. He's a bruiser of a back, but he's done some really good things in the passing game, too. So if you can get the offensive line from a pass protection and just a push-up front standpoint to take that next step, and this running game to be more consistent, this offense is going to be hard for anybody to stop. I don't care who they throw out there. But they do have some challenges coming up. You're right. Oklahoma's tough on defense. Auburn at their place, that's always going to be hard. But I think offensively, this team just needs to be better in the trenches.
I wanted you to talk for a minute or two about Yanze Pierre and Deontay Lawson. Obviously, Pierre is developing right in front of your eyes. Lawson coming back. He had the big turnover. He forced that to put Alabama in a position to win against South Carolina, because it seems like the linebacking core, an area that a lot of Alabama people have said was going to be a strength, and then maybe at the beginning did not look as sharp. But, man, the last few games it looks like they have rounding into a very nice position group.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that Yanze Pierre has just been a really pleasant surprise, because he's a guy that just hasn't really been able to get on the field the last couple of years. He played a little bit last year. He was one of those 5-star edge rushers that didn't play at all in 2023 and then sniffed a little bit of it last year. But now with injuries to Quay Rousseau and Jamarian Latham, he's been Alabama's best pass rusher. I don't think it's been close. He's just been disruptive. He leads the team in pressures. He continues to play just more and more reps. I think last week he played over 60 on the defensive side of the ball. So he's staying on the field, and he's making plays when he's out there. So I think that's been good from a pass rush standpoint, because, again, that's just one of those things where Alabama just hasn't been able to finish on a consistent enough basis at the quarterback. And then Deontay Lawson, look, I mean, the guy's coming off of a knee injury. He hurt it kind of coming up this time last year. We haven't even got to the 1-year anniversary. And the fact that he's been on the field, just in general, I think has been good for Alabama. But he's looked a step slow. And I think against South Carolina, it looked a little bit more like vintage Deontay Lawson. Obviously, he had the big play late with the rip of the football to force the fumble that Tim Keenan just kind of landed on. But you can tell that he himself has felt he hasn't played up to his own standard or the standard he's needed to, but he's kind of starting to get closer to that. So if you can have Deontay Lawson and those inside backers, I think Justin Jefferson's also had a big year, to be at full strength for this final stretch, I think that's huge for this defense. You pair that with what they're able to do off the edge with Pierre, and maybe, who knows, you get Quay Rousseau back here soon. I think that could be the strength that we thought it would be going into the season here in this final stretch.
All right, Charlie, as we start looking towards December, the SEC championship game, the only question I have is, who is Alabama going to be playing in that game? Could we potentially get, guys, Alabama versus Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss? How good would that be?
It'd be fascinating. I think Alabama, Georgia is still out there on the table. Texas A&M obviously is undefeated, and that would be interesting. But yeah, I think the Lane thing. Well, it's going to be fascinating to see what happens with Lane this next month or so with all these coaching changes, because he's got to be at the top of everybody's board, and to see how he navigates that with the way that they're playing too, is going to really, I guess, test the Lane Kiffin's maturity and where he's at in life and where he's at as a football coach. But yeah, Ole Miss is dangerous as anybody. So I think if Alabama takes care of business, they'll be in Atlanta. But the options that they have to face, whether it's an A&M if they run the table too, Ole Miss, Georgia, like it's heck, Vandy's still out there as a possibility too. It could be a fascinating matchup in Atlanta. I know we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit, but it could be a fun start to December with the way things shake out.
But is there any doubt, guys, that Lane Kiffin absolutely relishes in all of this attention and all of this talk about potential job openings?
No, I mean, you've seen what he's done post-game. His Monday press conference was entertaining. I think he's having a lot of fun with this, and he should. I mean, he's done a hell of a job at Ole Miss, and he's got 2 opportunities maybe in the SEC to look at. And, I think he's earned it, but it will be good TV to watch over the next few weeks or months, however long these things drag out.
I was going to ask you just your opinion, Charlie. Is the LSU job one of the, if not the best job in the Southeastern Conference?
That's open? Yeah.
Yes.
Overall, I mean, obviously, I think there's debate. But, yeah, open, I think LSU's the best job in the country right now. I think Florida's still a good job. I think the resources they have, where they're at in the country. But LSU, just everything it has, and obviously they want to kind of turn things around. I think it's no question the best job. And I think Lane Kiffin there would be dangerous, and it would be a lot of fun to watch.
Yes, it would.
Very much so. Charlie, always great to catch up with you. Enjoy the bye week. I know they won't get back to practice until a little bit later this week. But, man, it should be a lot of fun the last month of the season. Always appreciate your time.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. That's Charlie Potter from Bama Online. He joined us on the Higginbotham hotline because Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Takeaway is what Charlie just told us. More college football discussion. Your text as well. We continue the Tuesday edition, 3-man front live from the Taco Terrace at Social Taco in the Square in Homewood on Jocks.
great conversation with Charlie Potter from Bama Online. Last hour, we talked to Mike Griffith. SEC Michael W. Bratton. He will join the program at 12:15. Get his thoughts on the current state of the Southeastern Conference. He might have an opinion or two on the Auburn Tigers. Hugh Freeze is one of his favorite coaches.
I want to know where Taylon Green is in his quarterback rankings.
Ooh.
Because I think he had him fourth coming into the season, right? Or was it number one?
I think
I can't remember.
I think it was number one.
Yep.
Honestly, of all the takes we've heard from SEC Mike, one of the better ones.
Taylon Green?
Taylon Green. Yeah, he's been fantastic. Now,
he was great for Auburn.
Well, okay, yes. In the fourth quarter, he was terrible, but, I mean, he's had a good season.
It's really hard to say that, Conrad, after the guy just had – how many picks? Was it 3?
It was 3 in the fourth quarter.
And then Omega Blake had the strip fumble, lost the fumble.
So he's had a really good season in one really bad 15-minute stretch of football.
It was a really bad stretch.
Yeah, just down to that 15 minutes.
Yeah, text line is open, 205-834-9450.
You know, but when it comes to your roof, you need a company you can trust, a company that delivers on its promises. Across Birmingham, across central Alabama, that company is Abide Roofing. Their customers agree Abide is rocking a perfect 5-star rating on Google. And here's what just a few of the homeowners have been saying about Abide Roofing. Abide Roofing is trustworthy, easy to work with. They work hard. They have strong values. They're always willing to help, going above and beyond. If you're looking for someone honest, hardworking, and reliable, Abide Roofing is your team. They know the industry inside and out. Just a few of the comments that you're going to read when you go and you look at all the ratings, the perfect 5-star rating on Google for Abide Roofing. I was firsthand. I got to see them throughout the whole process, whether it was the first time they came and got on my roof to check out what my problem was, to dealing with my insurance company and doing a full roof replacement. When they give their word, they mean it. For roofing solutions built on trust, quality, and outstanding customer care, call the team that gets it done right for the first time. Call Abide Roofing at 205-941-6223 or visit abideroof.com.
Text line is open. We will go there now. The Jocks text line, best way to interact with us every day. First one out of the gate, how do you feel about Deuce Knight removing all his Auburn posts from social media? Do not follow him on social media. I've not seen that. I will take your word that he has done that. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, that had happened sometime last week.
Okay. I don't have an opinion. Pat, do you have an opinion on that? What do you think?
I do not.
Going back to Mike Griffith and the suggestion, kind of, I don't know, for context, you'd have to go back and listen to the interview, but he mentioned Jimbo Fisher in Auburn. This one reads, keep Jimbo as far away from Auburn as possible, would be about 10 years too late, just like it has been with Hugh. Very good text. Look at the side-by-side they provided us.
Oh, my goodness.
Is that a llama?
I believe so. It looks like a llama that needs some dental work.
Needs some orthodontics. Interesting. Well, I know that Tennessee and the NCAA have always been buddies, so maybe that's what the NCAA has against Jeremy Pruitt, and he's an Alabama guy, and the NCAA have been against Alabama since the 90s. People asking, when can Jeremy Pruitt come back? Will says Mike Griffith plays ball like a girl. I don't think that is the case. He's served in our nation's military. Josh in Huntsville. Mike and Coach are easily the best guests y'all have, but Jimbo to Auburn would not sit well with the Barners probably. I did ask someone who would be privy to some conversations, and this was 3 weeks ago, about the potential of Jimbo. And I think I kind of said it like there's no chance that there would be any flirtation there. And I was told no, but anything can happen. You never know. He still has relationships with folks down there that matter. Nick from Prattville. Danny Lehman seems to be the front runner for the Braves managerial position. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Is that the guy from the Dodgers? The Lehman guy? Or is that somebody else? It's not David Ross, I know that.
Yeah, there was I saw an interview Mark DeRosa did on 680 The Fan in Atlanta. I meant to send it to you, and I forgot. basically no one from Atlanta has talked to him. And during this interview on 680 The Fan, he literally said, my phone is wide open. Like, I am ready to have a conversation. So the guys on 680 The Fan, they were kind of perplexed why the Braves had not at least had a conversation with Mark DeRosa. But apparently someone that we thought a couple weeks ago was going to be potentially one of those guys that was going to have a conversation yet to happen.
I've seen Flaherty's name with the Cubs. I've saw this Lehman's guy, and, yeah, he is a bench coach for the Dodgers.
Was DeRosa not one of the guys that was in Auburn with Tim Hudson?
Yeah, he was.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, did I see where Brian Snitker's son was hired by the New York Mets?
From the Astros organization?
I think so.
Richard, thank you for playing the Brent Venables Lane Kiffin comments, because Lane's comments made my whole week. I'm just laughing. Can't stop laughing. You guys are awesome. You're awesome, Richard. Hope you're doing well. Brian Kelly fired the strength coach from the previous 3 Natty teams. Talking about Moffitt, right? He's at Texas A&M now. A&M bullied LSU 2 years straight.
By the way, Troy Snitker was hired as hitting coach for the New York Mets.
Okay. He says Jeremy Pruitt suing the NCAA to be reinstated for the 2026 season. The show cause right now is through 2029. Don with a question from the terrace. Who gets fired next? Mark Stoops at Kentucky or Hugh Freeze at Auburn? I will say Hugh Freeze. What about you, Pat?
Do I really have to pick one?
I had to, so you have to.
Just for the I think we're getting into schematics here.
Yes,
and I'm gonna say Stoops.
Okay.
Would either of them get fired before the end of the season?
I do not believe that Hugh Freeze
I think Stoops may.
would get fired before the end of the season. I think that Hugh Freeze makes it through the season.
I think Stoops.
That's
is
kinda
a
where I'm
likely
at.
candidate.
Yeah.
Fat Joe says the red bell cake is for me. She knows. BB, it's my favorite. And my 1 month suspension is up, so I could coming inside, heading to the taco chairs again. Proceed with caution. This one we're rolling in. Buddy of mine lived across the street from Gene Chiswick, just outside of Ames, Iowa. Got a call, told where the key was, and told what closet to clear out. All his Iowa State gear went to the Cyclones neighborhood. Really good gear. Kind of how that works.
Okay.
Talking about coaches' gear when they leave or get fired. Mark says Johnny Vaught was the greatest coach at Ole Miss. I knew we'd get blowback on that.
Johnny Vaught did win a national championship.
So did the previous coach we were just talking about, Gene Chiswick. SEC has 16 teams, at best 4, maybe 5 make the playoff. You could be a really good coach and never make it. I think all the money has warped everyone's expectations. What is the new market going to be? Because Signetti getting that deal for 10 plus a year, right? Or is it 10, 11 plus a year? You've already got coaches that you would consider mid-tier in the SEC approaching 10. What's that new reports from our buddy?
He's saying that there's an offer on the table for 13.5
to a coach who has never won a conference title in the SEC and has never made a college football playoff. So what's that new blockbuster number we're going to be looking? Do we get to $15 million before it's all said and done?
In this cycle, I don't think so.
In this cycle?
I don't think so.
Dave says that Jeremy Bernard is the closest thing to Debo Samuels in college. What do you think, Conrad?
I don't hate the comparison in terms of how he's used. And I love Jeremy. He's a great player. He's not Debo Samuel.
Debo was so sick at South Carolina.
Debo is one of the freakiest athletes. Yes.
When he was healthy and they were playing, it didn't matter. If you knew that there was going to be a kickoff return, you stopped what you were doing and you watched Debo Samuels. to see what he could do.
Yes.
The guy was just electric.
And again, I get it because he's a receiver that also runs the ball a lot. And so, yes, he is used a lot of the way that Debo is. But Debo is a very special athlete. Yeah.
Joey from Coleman says Jimbo Fisher needs to go to Oklahoma State. I can see that fit there. Cliff in Northport says, I'm a Baton Rouge native, but a proud UA alum. Brian Kelly is an arrogant Yankee and does not care about the health of his players. I served as a proud Louisiana State Police State Trooper during Coach Saban's years there, and I know the LSU fan base. Roll Tide, roll forever. Cliff R. Thank you, Cliff.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about this buyout of Brian Kelly, and I was just reading an article just a couple minutes ago, and it was talking about the portion in the contract, and this is what LSU is trying to negotiate with Brian Kelly. It's called duty to mitigate clause. This clause explicitly requires Kelly to exercise due diligence and good faith in seeking qualifying employment so long as the liquidated damage obligation exists, or in simple terms, Kelly has to look for another job. So Kelly cannot take the $53 million and just take it down to South Beach like Ed Orgeron did.
But can he not just turn down any job that's offered to him?
Well, I mean, I guess he has to, in good faith, give the appearance that he is actually trying to get another job.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd go and interview for jobs and then just, I don't think this is a good fit for me.
So LSU is going to hold him to that. Again, maybe they're hoping that Penn State will come in and go, hey, Yankee, would you like to come back up here and coach some football? And maybe
I'd have made that phone call Sunday night.
Well, I'm sure his representation. I think Trace Armstrong represents Brian Kelly.
Okay.
It's not Jimmy Sexton. And I'm sure that Armstrong and his representation is telling him, don't do anything, don't say anything, just let us take care of this. And who knows, maybe those calls have come from Happy Valley.
I don't know what it would take to get him. I think $10+ million a year. But if I'm a Penn State fan, that is a grand slam hire.
So I'm just using this math as an example. Let's say that Kelly goes and signs a new 5-year deal worth $25 million to be the next head coach at Oklahoma State. Then the buyout for LSU, which is currently at $54 million, you would subtract the $25 million that Oklahoma State is going to pay him over the next 5 years. So then all of a sudden LSU is only on the hook for $29 million.
Yeah.
Quite a difference than the $54 million that you heard on Sunday.
He's just got to have due diligence, though, to go and interview, even though
Correct.
if he knows at the end of the day he's not going to take the job.
Yes.
What a great deal.
It's a win-win.
Honey, I'm gone. Yeah, I'm going to go do one of these never going to materialize interviews.
See, I just like to think he would do them all over Zoom with, like, the blazer on, but then he's just got his boxers on the bottom. Like, not taking it seriously whatsoever.
Well, first off, and I said this yesterday.
I don't know why that made me laugh thinking of that, but it was funny.
I mean, contractually, Kelly is owed the money.
Yeah.
I mean, the contract is pretty simple. There's no gray area or workabouts. I mean, the only way that LSU can reduce the buyout is if Kelly finds another job or Kelly signs a lucrative new deal somewhere else. So as long as he's going through the motions of, hey, yeah, I'm trying to find a job, I'm trying to do this or that, LSU's going to be on the hook for that money. So that's why I was a little bit perplexed on the whole we're negotiating now. Well, I mean, he signed a contract. You agreed to the contract. Both parties agreed. You owe him the money.
And you knew it was at stake when you had all the powers that be that came in and said, we'll find a way. He's just got to be out.
Yeah.
Which I applaud LSU for doing it. If you thought this is not going to work, why not go ahead and take care of it then? Especially after you had a almost empty Tiger Stadium at the end of that game, and you have your rival in Texas A&M of all. You know, if it was Alabama, they wouldn't like it. But Texas A&M coming in there and doing what they did.
Yeah, having the Merry Milkman do all their little dancing and all that stuff.
Oh,
it was just
the prancing, the leaping.
the prancing. Is that what it was?
It was prancing. It was a lot of prancing. Saw a lot of jazz hands.
Will you show me what
a lot
prancing
of
looks
spirit
like
fingers.
during the break?
A lot of prancing and spirit fingers. No, my back's a little janked up today.
Oh, okay.
I'll do it for you.
All right, we will continue on from Social Taco. Come on up and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. This is Jock's Three-Man Front. Coming up at 12:15, we will talk to that SEC podcast host, SEC Mike.
Oh,
Did you boo our guest? Eat your food.
boo him, Don. That's fine. I give you permission. You boo Michael Pratt.
Just eat your food. Nobody asked you.
Where's cousin Shane?
My goodness, just rude.
Don, I thought it was great. You enjoy that taco bowl.
Well, it's halftime of the kickoff sales event at Courtesy GMC right now. Get up to $15,000 off remaining 2025 Sierra 1500s and 2500s, the absolute lowest price you're going to find anywhere in Alabama. I went by there late yesterday afternoon, and the inventory is just incredible right now. The all-new 2026 Sierras are rolling in daily. They got a great assortment, plenty to choose from. They're on the 9-acre lot of Courtesy GMC right off of Edwards Lake Road. They're in Trussville. Guess what? Those 2026 Sierras I was just telling you about, they're listed at 2025 model year pricing, so you can get by there and take advantage of this incredible pricing at Courtesy GMC. And remember, every new GMC comes with Courtesy's exclusive 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Get by and see them off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville, courtesybirmingham.com. All right, so we were asked earlier, I believe it was Don on the text line. He asked us who was going to be fired next. Was it going to be Mark Stoops? Is it going to be Hugh Freeze? Well, KSR, we all know that, the Kentucky Sports Radio, Matt Jones, outstanding radio host. He does an afternoon show. This is what he had to say yesterday about the future of Mark Stoops.
Here's where we are for the future. I know this we're now at 85 to 90% chance we'll have a new coach next year. Only way it could be different is if, in my opinion, if they were to win if they were to go 6-6, which would mean beating Auburn, Florida, and then either Vandy or Louisville. Does anyone on this show disagree with that?
No. If any 6-6.
Do you now think 5-7 also means a change? Because I do. I think the administration has said, let's wait a week and let's see what happens at Auburn. Not that Auburn could save his job, but Auburn could be the final nail, Ryan. That's how I look at it. Do you agree?
Yeah, they go on the road, they get embarrassed, don't play well. I think that would maybe be the final nail in the coffin.
And at which point, then I think there would be completely open to having the discussion of, all right, how do we end this? And starting to have that discussion with Stoops' people. I think the people believe around the program there's still a way to win 6 games. Now, we can all think that's ridiculous, but when you're in that locker room and you're playing, you can't think it's over.
No.
You still got 5 games to play. And I think they look at it and say, is it insane that we could beat Auburn, Florida, and one of Vandy and Louisville? Well, I mean, I guess it's not insane, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, man.
It kind of feels insane. But, no, when they decided that they wanted to go out and play, they've had some interesting games. I don't know if I would change my opinion. If Auburn gets beat at home by Kentucky, that might prompt one of those, I'm a couple in, you know what, let's do this now.
Kind of like what happened in Baton Rouge?
I just – this Kentucky team, now Arkansas was one thing and going up and playing on the road, but Arkansas at least they had a little bit of
juice.
A little bit of juice to them, just at least with what they were doing offensively, and they'd had some close games. This Kentucky team rolls into Jordan Hare and gets a win. Gets a coach who seems to be in the same predicament as your coach. Yeah, I don't know if they could stomach another week with Hugh as the head coach.
So Matt Jones saying there's an 85 to 90% chance that Kentucky will have a new head football coach in 2026.
Well, yeah.
Keep in mind on October 4th, after the Georgia loss, Mark Stoops said the following: "There is zero chance I am walking away." You know what I mean?
You're going to pay me all my money.
Zero. End of quote. So if Kentucky were to move on from Stoops, the university would owe him 75% of the remaining contract. His buyout currently sits at $38 million.
That's why Kentucky is a top job in the SEC for coaching football. You and Conrad have been trying to run Stoops out of town for years and years, but that's why he's got such a good deal. And then they kept re-upping the deal. It's like, hey, you won 8 games this year. Tell you what, you win 8 games every year, you get us to a bowl, that's going to be more cash in your pocket. He has had a sweetheart deal in Lexington.
Saying that he's not going anywhere is the most honest thing a football coach has ever said in the history of human existence. Because why
zero
would you?
chance
Why would
I'm
you?
walking away. You know what I mean?
He's got
Zero.
this sweet deal. Why would you?
I put up with Calipari and all of his crap. All the crap that I've heard from you basketball fans all these years. I was winning 10 games, and you were racing to Rupp Arena for March Madness. You know what? You're going to pay me every single dime.
I think this is what they're going to do because basketball season starts next week.
I love you Kentucky fans, by the way.
This is going to be a pivot where, like, nobody's paying attention to football, and they're going to end up, like, paying him off. But the basketball season will be going in, like, nobody's
cares.
paying attention.
No.
Like
Nope.
30
Right,
minutes
okay.
before their season
Whatever.
opener in basketball, you just get a press release that Mark Stoops has been let go.
Yeah.
They just try to, oh,
We'll pay
Nothing to
him
see
$38 million. and-
Ashley Judd goes to the big blue room or whatever there where all the donors and important people
Yeah.
congregate, and she notices that your mixed cocktail drinks are a little bit higher. Golly, these seem more like they're more expensive.
I wonder
Oh,
why.
you didn't see the headline?
Why hasn't the governor got involved in Kentucky? Is it because you got Louisville you got to mess with too?
Hey, so you've been seeing Brahm's name. His name. I think he might become the new Matt Campbell
Think so?
of coaches searches. They keep having success. You will continue to see Brahm's name.
I
he's
would
the
not disagree.
anti-James Franklin, where he will only win the big game. Now, he'll win other games too, but you get what I'm saying. Like, his
Yeah.
calling card is he will win those massive upsets.
And then when you're not looking, Boston College will beat his butt on a Saturday.
Bingo.
Yep. That's really how I look at the ACC. I hope Brent Key keeps winning.
Bill O'Brien. Is he 1-6? Something like that? 1-7?
I don't think that's going anywhere quick.
Tough sledding there on Chestnut Hill. Big time.
I'll be up there, near there, kind of.
Do you think that's what northern people say when they come to the South?
Yes.
It's like everything is like within like
Well,
striking distance.
Well, I find myself doing it when I go to other states. I'm just like, yeah, that's just right down the road, right? And it's like, look here on the map. It's just, yeah, but it's a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, I'm going to be right down the road from the beach. Oh, really? Where are you staying? Oh, Huntsville.
Yeah.
Right down
Or
the road
you go
from
to
Orange
you go to a
Beach.
state that you've never been to, and you're trying to knock out so many different places, and you're like, yeah, we'll just skedaddle 7 hours across the state this day and go and see this, and then we'll shoot back 4 hours that way and see that.
I love it when national people, back in the old days, when they would come in and do the Iron Bowl at Legion Field, and they would talk about Auburn being right down the road from
Right
Birmingham.
down the road.
Well, I mean, technically it is. I mean, right down 280, but yeah,
Just a couple hours.
Yeah, it got to kind of. It's not like
If
going down to Vestavia.
if you have to stop and pee, it's not right down the road.
you got for you.
Well,
pee
I'm
every 10
different. I'm
minutes.
just saying, like for Pat, if Pat has to stop and pee, it's not
yeah,
right down
no,
the road.
that's a trip. Yeah, no, you're right.
No, with me, I just bring the milk jugs.
So that
And
means
and
by
a blanket.
that logic that Atlanta's right down the road for Pat.
That's right.
Yes, very much so. We didn't stop one time going to Atlanta. This
No,
time.
we need to start. We need to start.
No, we did. Remember, it hit you like
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Douglasville.
Oh, that's where. Yep.
Yep, remember?
Yeah.
And then that was when we took the detour and we almost bought some seafood from a young man's house out in the middle of nowhere.
So random and weird. I didn't want to see what was in that freestanding deep freezer in the middle of the guy's yard.
Yeah, Landrum wanted to stop, and I'm like, I'm not stopping, Landrum. I am not stopping because we had to make a detour. This has like Halloween horror movie written all over it. We're
It's
not
like,
doing
Pat, you
that.
love fried squid. Come on.
All right, we will continue on. Your texts are welcome at 205-834-9450, 1-800-239-WJOX. It's 11:48 on Jocks. This is Three Man Front. Pat Landrum. We are live at Social Taco. Come on by and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. 1-800-239-WJOX. How about Michigan and Sharon Moore? They have had an about face. They won't appeal their $30 million fine in the Connor Stallions investigation. Moore, Stallions, and the university filed notices stating their intent to appeal after the Committee on Infractions issued its ruling in August. The NCAA's infractions dashboard now shows that Moore withdrew his notice of intent on September 29th, and Michigan withdrew its notice on October 6th. Stallions filed his appeal on October 3rd. Michigan could end up paying fines of more than $30 million, a sum that includes the loss of postseason revenue for the next 2 years and a fine equivalent to 10% of the program's budget. Moore was suspended for the 2026 season opener in addition to 2-game suspension he served earlier this year, and Stallions was given an 8-year show cause that discourages the NCAA schools from hiring him. If you remember, at the time of the ruling, Michigan alleged fundamental errors in interpreting NCAA bylaws and claimed the ruling included a number of conclusions that are directly contrary to the evidence or lack of evidence in the record, end of quote. So they had an about face now, Landrum. They have decided that they are dropping their countersuit, and they will now take their medicine, and they could pay close to $30 million.
Who gets the $30 million?
I'm sure it will go to the attorney fees involved in the House settlement.
That is a very big, high character move by Michigan. Truly, that is.
It's an about face, Conrad. They feel convicted.
Convicted they are.
I think that they have been struggling with the lack of morals that program has showcased in recent memory, and it's finally they finally did the right thing. Good for them.
It's time to come clean, guys.
That's right.
Yes.
Now, did someone have to hold them accountable to come clean? Maybe so. Maybe so.
We have now recognized what the rest of America has recognized. We have not been playing by the rules.
But, hey, you're going to let us keep that national championship trophy?
We're keeping
so we
that
will
natty.
Pay the $30 million.
From my cold, dead fingers, buddy.
So the national championship was worth $30 million to them.
You dang right it was.
Yeah, I think every school that had that money would pay $30 million for a national championship.
I would love somebody to do a study what each college football national championship, what that means for your university. Admissions, all of that.
Well, I know we have a lot of university employees, whether you're at UAB, Samford, Alabama, Auburn, Troy, South Alabama, Alabama Huntsville, North Alabama, Jacksonville State, and go on and on. Got a lot of listeners
Spring Hill
across the wonderful world of intercollegiate athletics that listen to this show. And if you remember, the NCAA said, hey, if you want to bet on pro sports, we're going to allow you to do that now. Because in the past, if you did that, you would be susceptible to being fired from your job, and the NCAA would come after you, and they would blackball you. They're going to allow you now, if you're a university employee, you still can't bet on college sports. But if you want to bet on the NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, go for it. Well, apparently Greg Sankey in the Southeastern Conference, they got a problem with that. In a memo sent to the NCAA last week, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey urged the association to rescind its decision to permit college athletes to wager on professional sports, describing the move as a major step in the wrong direction. After a discussion about the issue during its in-person meetings on October 13th, the SEC presidents and chancellors are clear and united that the NCAA's move should be reversed, Sankey wrote in a 2-page letter which was obtained by Yahoo Sports. Any concerns over the previous policy to prohibit athletes to bet on all sports should be addressed not through a wholesale removal of the guardrails, but careful refinement of the policy, the SEC contends.
Sounds like somebody got burned betting on the Falcons this weekend.
Do you think we see – there's no way to know. I'm guessing we do. We see an increase in college athletes who never intended on betting on anything now that they see, oh, by the way, you guys can bet on professional sports. They start signing up for accounts, putting a little bit of change in there. And and firing away.
If I'm Keishon Butte, I'm running like a college, like one of those packages. Hey, $50 for 5 picks. Because remember, I mean, he was fantastic at this.
You know what we ought to do? We ought to get Pat to create a video. And what we do, and this can be like the whatever app, we can sell it to different college athletic programs, and they can show the video for those who are interested. And it's Pat saying, "Hi, collegiate athletes, my name's Pat Smith, and welcome to the world of gambling." And then you take them through kind of a baby steps approach to how they should look at things. Elementary terms. You got the over, you got the under. What's a spread? This would be great, and we sell it for $19.99.
Oh, so there's a money
per kid that enrolls in your course. The do's and don'ts.
All right. Let's go for it. If it's a money-making venture, why not? All for it.
I'm all about it.
Most recently, Pitt coach Pat Narduzzi ripped the association's move, changing the rules, calling it the stupidest decision I've ever seen. I mean, really? Narduzzi's going to call that the stupidest decision he's ever seen?
I would, because I'm not thinking this far down the road. I'm just wondering what maybe the fear is that what does this turn into?
It's a gateway, you know that.
Well, yes. But is it just people ruining their lives because of gambling, or is I just like further explanation?
Well, somebody just comes along and goes, what's hard? Betting on the NFL. You know what's not as hard? Betting on college football, and then there's your gateway.
How many of these kids were betting and they had no idea they were breaking the rules? Or when you get the gymnast that says, "Oh my gosh, I accidentally bet on the Cincinnati Bengals I accidentally bet on the Cincinnati Bearcats and not the Cincinnati Bengals." And I don't know why it's a gymnast.